Tara here for another Scraplift Crafternoon. Hey guys, how are you this weekend? We are scrap lifting Julia Heald this week. Her layout is absolutely stunning. I was very quickly drawn to the bright colors in her layout, and I will be using bright colors in my own. I did not have all of the exact Vicky Bouton papers that she did, so I'll just kind of wing it and go from there. I did some pre-prep off screen. I did have the lovely green piece that she used, and I gutted it with my Cameo. So I'll be using this to back mine just like she did, and I also pre-cut this. So let's get started. So I mentioned in the beginning that I pre-gutted my background piece. I'm cutting off the border strip there and setting it aside. I probably threw away, and I'm attaching my background white cardstock. I trimmed off a 1/2 inch off two sides, given an 1/8 inch border around the white cardstock. I glued it down with my quick dry glue, and then I began working on other parts. So you'll notice that I'm using a couple different Vicky Bouton collections for my layout. I have both Sweet Rush and Color Study out, and some ephemera and other little bits and pieces from either or. I pulled things out and I didn't write down what they were. So I took off the border strips from each of the pieces. This floral piece is what I'm going to use as the bottom layer. I initially cut it down 7 to 9, and you'll see in a minute that I decide it's too big, and it ends up being 6 by 8. The yellow gingham ends up being a little less than, I think it's like 5 by 8 or 5 by 7 when I recut it. They were a little bigger than I intended them to be. So you can see here where I'm actually recutting them. It's really no big deal that I recut the pieces because I do need some banner strips for the top left hand corner of my layout. I just set those aside to use those as my banner strips. Background story on this black and white photo that I'm going to use for this layout is it was taken by a professional photographer at the airport, I think Dulles, when my husband came in from Afghanistan and Kuwait deployment in 2015. That is one of my absolute favorite photos from that day, so I'm going to use it to create this layout. Here's where I start putting mats around my photo. I decided to go ahead and use a white cardstock as well as a mat for this photo, just like the original layout. I really think that makes my black and white photo pop, especially against those beautiful bright colors in these Vicky Bouton collections. So I'm going to go ahead and mat this photo on two different pieces of pattern paper. I chose the green and the blue X's and O Hugs and Kisses pattern as well. I think that's the back side of the floral. I don't measure anything here, and I'm not gluing it down yet because I'm going to distress the edges of these mats. In fact, I distress all of the edges of the mats and layering on my layout, and you'll see me do that here. As I finish up using the distress tool on these pieces, you're going to see me begin to glue down the various mats and my photo as well, so that I can begin tucking and adding the embellishments that I've chosen to use for my layout. I pick up my banner punch. I bought this punch from Hobby Lobby. It's one of my most used punches right now. We ended up adding a 1-inch guide on there, so because I tend to use that size as well as the other sizes, and I was having a hard time getting it to line up, so my husband measured it all out for me and he drew the lines on. Works great. Cut down my banner pieces, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere them to my layout right now. I use my quick dry adhesive for that. I almost put the quick dry on the wrong side. Remembered at the last minute to flip it over because I wanted the blue side to show. I pulled out some ephemera and stickers. I think they're all from the Color Study collection, and I decided on using some flowers and some various stickers from that collection on this layout. I just began layering what I've chosen to use around it and kind of doing that willy-nilly. There's no rhyme or reason to what I'm doing. I'm just going with the flow here. I do want to add some dimension, so I get out my pop dots, and you're going to see me add them to this flower. It is off the page. At the end I will cut it down off camera, but it is going to hang off that page for right now. I add another one underneath the leaf to make sure that the whole thing it has dimension. Then you're going to see me cut down my sheet of pop dots, and I'm going to use what I cut down behind that flower next to my photo. I'm trying to cover up my purse a little bit in this photo. It is a professional photo, but they weren't staged. This lady was at the deployments. I don't even think it was a redeployment ceremony. They just got off the plane, and I ran to my husband. As you can see, he's holding his arms out to me. Makes me want to cry now. The clear title pieces that I'm using, and I'm gluing down with this Scotch adhesive, are from one of my hip kits. I had included those in my counterfeit kit this month, and I read those particular phrases, which you'll be able to see in the close-up at the end of the video what they say, but they're perfect for the emotions in this photo. I wanted to add a phrase sticker to the middle of the flower on the left-hand side of my photo. I just wanted to add some more words. I'm not going to put a lot of journaling on this page, so the phrases are going to serve for more journaling. I do add handwritten journaling at the top. I had stuck in, she used a label, but I stuck in a pre-cut die cut that I cut recently from a Pink Fresh Studio ephemera pack. The background that they put on there are always grid pieces, and I cut them down for journaling. I am trying to line up my title here. I decided to use Major Heart Eyes as my title. I loved that she used white title on hers and some other white pieces, and so I dug through my extensive stash of thickers and found some that would work. I just lined it up. You're going to see I'm going to move it around here. I'm only adhering the bottoms of that because I'm wanting to get it on there just so, and I don't know how just so is, so I just barely stick them down to my photo mat, and then I move them to get them exactly where I want them. So after I got the title where I wanted it, I add some little cutout hearts from that same thicker pack on either side of my photo. It adds just a little bit of dimension to my layout. I also add some flat heart stickers in various places on the layout. Just wanted to give it a little bit more color. I know that she had quite a bit of little bits and pieces around hers as well. I had considered getting out my enamel dots, but decided that I could just use these stickers. There's plenty of things in this sticker pack that would work. I also add a small tab on the lower right. I think I do that off camera though, but I use it for my date, and so I'm finishing up. As I finish up, I will show you the close-ups of my layout. I pull it up so that you can see where I trimmed the ephemera at the top. I added all those little heart pieces and my journaling and the tab down there on the corner. And off camera, I added some splatters and some white pin stitching. Have such a wonderful Sunday. Thanks for stopping by my channel. Bye.